Is it the end of the world? Yes, it is the end of the world. And it's also the beginning of a brand new, solid Juggalo world for us all to enjoy.
What's up?
What up?
Howdy, y'all. What's up? My name is Kyle, a.k.a. Keezy, if you want. This is my good friend.
Carver Law, y'all.
What's up, bro?
What up? Just trying to do the wicked clown sign, but I fucked it all up.
Bro, you don't get canceled over that.
What do they think it was a gang
Bro,
sign?
they'll probably think it's white power or some shit.
Oh man, don't fucking say that shit, because they will take that what you just said out of context and then make me look like a fucking. He's racist.
I know. I'm just kidding. We're having a lively chat over here, though, right?
Yeah, man. We're having a good little discussion.
But we're by the way, this is Deck One Dealt. We're a Juggalo podcast for people like us who are into ICP and have been for a long time. We've been Juggalos for 20 something years.
Oh yeah,
at this point
over 20 years now. More of the I guess what you would call the old school.
Yeah, sure.
More the old school fan. We've been part of the culture, but we haven't really haven't been active in it.
Yeah.
So we're just, we like ICP, but we're kind of that old fan that's not really active, but we still like them enough to start a podcast.
Of
obviously.
course. we spent the majority of our Juggaloism during our teens and 20s.
Teens and 20s, yeah.
But we just want to put that out there because we're not consistent with our fucking shows. Obviously, we just take long breaks and fuck off. But we want to make sure that if there are any people that are just catching on, what our deal is.
Yeah, this is what it's for. Obviously, everybody is welcome to watch, but
of course,
we are the old school Juggalo, so we're trying to make content for the old school Juggalos out there that may not really keep up with them as well, but you might get this in your algorithm and see it and go, hey, okay, there you go.
Folks like us, there's not enough Juggalo podcasts out there. Like, would you consider CPN's show a podcast?
I
don't know.
Nah, I don't know, but he's like, he talks more about him.
Okay.
It seems nowadays, so.
But he used to be a pretty good, decent source of like Juggalo news and drama.
Yeah.
But now he's more heavily focused on the drama, and I understand that gets him the hits and shit. But that's not really our gig. We want to celebrate Juggaloism.
Yeah.
We don't really want to like divide anybody. Like we know you went through your before the coma, like you were going through. I know you don't remember, but you were going through a bit of a twisted phase and shit. Like we were doing a lot of back and forth about Twisted versus ICP, but that's not necessarily our agenda, right?
Weird times. No. That's not my agenda. I don't know what I was going. Something's wrong with my head. I was obviously going through something, but no, man. The way I see it is, people like CPN, they talk about like the Juggalo on a level to where if like you're if you're an old school Juggalo just coming back to look for some stuff, you might not know what they're. You might feel like you're out of the know. Like,
sure.
The CPN talks about things that like one of my old school Juggalo friends that doesn't pay attention to the Juggalo community wouldn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Right. Of course.
Of
course.
Talks about other Juggalos as if they're celebrities and stuff. Juggalos like old school Juggalos like us and stuff don't really care about that shit. I know I don't.
Of course.
I don't want to hear about other Juggalos that are like celebrity status. Like, give me the news about ICP. Let's talk about the music. Let's go in depth on that. Let's go into how our lives were shaped and you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. This is a celebration of how ICP and Psychopathic has influenced our lives and also how we've grown into contributing adults, with that kind of mindset. So, there used to be a time where I said that I'm going, like, no matter what, dude, I'm going to every fucking gathering. I don't care if it's on the moon, I'm going.
Yeah, I think I was like that at a point,
but,
too.
Reality sets in, of course. So now, instead of doing that, we just do a podcast about it.
Yeah. But that thought, that idea about going to the gathering, that gung-ho about it kind of ended you know, pretty quick too, you know.
Yeah.
We were going from like what 2000 to 2005.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
After that, it was like I haven't been back to a gathering since.
Yeah.
2000, I think maybe 2006 was the last gathering I was at.
It seems like it was such a huge fucking monumental moment out of our lives, but as you get older, you just realize like, yeah, it was
like 5 years.
it's kind of a phase, I guess. Yeah. But you know, I don't like saying my love for ICP is a phase, because while it could be perceived that way, you know, where I didn't wear nothing but ICP shirts for a long time. I spent all my money on ICP shit. I only talked about it and engrossed myself in ICP shit. Like, you could perceive that as a phase, but once again, you know, I'm 36 years old and we're sitting here doing an ICP Juggalo podcast. It's obviously something that's affected us on a deeper level.
Yeah,
know?
yeah, for sure. Most people look back in their high school and teenage years, early 20s, college years, and they associate what they were doing in that time, the group of friends, who they were, what they were doing, and then they might have this music they were listening to in the background, but for most people it's just normal music. Like,
sure.
Oh, that's my song. Remember when we listened to that song that summer?
Yeah.
For us, it was different because we had a band that was almost the reason why those kind of years happened for us.
Yeah, absolutely. 'Cause,
Right?
I mean, that's what brought us together.
Exactly.
I truly believe that, and even still, most of the friends I have today
Yeah.
are due to our shared love of ICP back in the day.
Yeah,
You know?
so not only do we have those same kind of years and feels we get from that time period, but we also have this band that really was the true soundtrack for it, and that is brought it all together, and it was kind of the glue for it. It wasn't just like a song for that summer or, you know, a band we listened to for a couple years, you know what I mean? And then we grew up, and now, you know, remember when we used to listen to that band? It's like, no, we stayed with ICP in our souls.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
It never left.
There's no like I mean, how many people do you talk to these days that are like, oh yeah, I've listened to like ICP before, and like they know 2 songs or whatever, you know? And that's not, those people aren't who this show's for necessarily.
And those people are like that with all music.
Right, you're right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that there are other bands that do this for other people, you know, for what it's worth. But ICP just happened to be the ones that got us.
Yeah, yeah. They're always compared to Grateful Dead.
Oh yeah, that's
like
a good
I've
one.
had some experience with Grateful Dead, the Grateful Dead fan base, because I listened to some of the bands that cross over with that genre, and they're a lot of the same kind of things that happen. You know, they go out to festivals. They're real tight knit community. It transcends through the generations.
Yeah, like you can meet someone and you just they get it and you get it.
Yeah, you absolutely know. A lot of them look the same because they wear kind of the same T-shirts, and they come from the same kind of cut from the same kind of cloth.
You know, I was talking to I always fuck around with my kids like in the car. Like my younger kids, they love K-pop. That's their shit right now. And you know, for what it's worth, K-pop, there's some tight shit in there. But nevertheless, like I think it's kind of doing to them what ICP did to us. And but I hope they like, you know, it's something that gets them involved in like that community of people, and they can feel that same kind of like love and admiration for each other that we did get at the gatherings and we got at concerts. Like when I fuck around with them in the car, like I'm like, all right, I'm gonna play some ICP. Like, and they're like, no, come on, like.
Well,
but
you used to play some for him, right?
Oh, I still do. I literally said that, and then like I played Chicken Hunt. Like I talk to my kids about like, you know, about the music itself and like what it means and stuff. And my oldest, she mentioned to me the last time I brought it up, like, do you think would you go to an ICP concert like today? I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like yeah. And she's
you're
like,
the main reason why I don't.
Yeah, pretty much. But she's like, wouldn't you feel weird or like, I mean, like, don't you think that they wouldn't like? I'm paraphrasing. It wasn't exact. It was something along these lines, but. Wouldn't you feel weird like if you went now? I'm like, no, I would go to ICP concert and we would all be friends.
Yeah.
Like I could talk to anyone in that line and like they were my friend.
It's like a family reunion.
Yeah.
I mean that's the best way you can explain to it.
I mean, it seems corny saying that, but it really is true. Like
it really is. Like you get there, you know your family. You may not talk to them, but you know as soon as you get to the family reunion, you know everybody, or at least you've seen them.
Yeah.
And you kind of know what they're about.
Dude, homies are family too. Third cousins, get out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
I literally played homies for my kids the other day. Like,
nice.
and as I played, like, and this might seem corny and silly, but as I played it, I was like, yeah, this song's just about like your friends, like how you should love them and stuff.
Yeah.
And like I played it for him, and like I don't think none of it really like soaked in, but you know,
well, also they don't have that kind of that kind of culture with friends don't really exist anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
How we used to get together and go out and do shit.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of that at least that I've seen anymore, right?
Yeah, I mean, you probably. I don't know.
That's almost like a thing of the past.
I don't know, man. I think they're still. It's just in a different fashion. You know, we didn't have social media back then, so it was a little bit of a trickier landscape where we didn't always have access to these family members and shit. Where now, like they do, and I think taking it for granted is kind of the wrong phrase, but I think they don't realize exactly how good they have it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I know your kids grew up with your friends coming around a lot.
Sure.
Which a lot of people's kids aren't subjected. A lot of people's kids don't have that. They don't see their parents' friends coming over a lot and get that atmosphere of like friendship and you
community
call it party, but more of a community, more of a collective.
Yeah, because we have a really tight knit group of friends that I believe if one of us were to get rich and buy 10 houses and a court, like we would all like be into that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, man. That was the goal. Back
So,
in the day.
which ironically is what Joe Rogan's literally doing right now with his Spotify money. But
lucky bastard.
I know, right? But a lot of that though is attributed to how we grew up with ICP and like how much that kind of community meant to us, and we knew that, and we always had this connective thread of being a juggalo or I know how you think before you even say it kind of shit, and a lot of that it just transcends. And even if you're not a juggalo, like a lot of our friend group isn't anymore, but and a lot of them may never have been, but they still understand that, I think, like for the most part. But
yeah, that's the thing about that's the thing about music, and especially music like ICP, is that when people get together and listen to this music, what other people are thinking just because they listen to the music. Just because they attract to the music, a big part of why they are who they are.
a lot of their beliefs already, most likely.
Yeah, and it may change. It may change the older you get, but you could still go back to that person and be like, remember where we were at this age, connect from there, connect back at that point, and then, rebuild from that point up, and then, see who people are again. But you'll always have the connecting point with with a band like ICP.
Absolutely. And you know what's great is like, I think it is like kind of, it's perpetuating with the younger generation of juggalos too. Thanks to people like Ouija Mac, he's a very like outspoken, like very like loving like guy. I follow him on Twitter, and he's always posting like super positive, like cool shit. He loves hanging out with juggalos and shit. Like he's a prime example of a younger kid who probably grew up in the juggalo world and like is perpetuating that and keeping the legacy alive. Obviously ICP is still doing their thing, and they're definitely still 100% committed to that, but it's refreshing knowing that it's going to continue on.
Yeah, man. Speaking of Ouija Mac, is he still on the label?
I think so. Yeah, he just had a new album come out like last week. I haven't got a chance to check it out, but
I honestly haven't seen too much on the music side at all. Speaking of this podcast with the news, if we're getting into any news, I haven't seen much.
Yeah.
So I don't really know a lot what's going on in the community right now.
Same, and we'll catch up. And by no means like we're not trying to be some authority for Juggalo news or anything. We pick it. We pick and choose stuff we find and want to talk about that interests us, obviously. But we're not trying to be someone's source necessarily. We mainly want to again just celebrate the love of being a Juggalo, but.
Yeah, we're not trying to like tell you the news. We're
right.
trying to we hear about the news and we're trying to talk about it and maybe
start a conversation.
Yeah, start a conversation and bring a perspective from someone who an old school and we're not the oldest school jugglers,
of course,
but we're pretty old school Juggalos from within that first 5-6 year, creation.
Absolutely.
That what would you call it? The genesis.
Yeah.
Of ICP. We're within that, the same kind of era of that.
Absolutely.
So we're bringing it from our perspective is what we're trying to do. So we're not going to bring you all the news. We're just going to tell you what we hear about and what we think about, and then hopefully start a conversation and shit, like you said.
That said, I did notice, like I said, Ouija Mac has a new album out. I haven't checked out, but I'll be quite honest. Like the shit I've listened to Ouija Mac, like it doesn't like really speak to me much. Like he's a good rapper and shit, but a lot of it is I don't know. I'm not huge on like the like very repetitive kind of like rapping like that a lot of rappers do these days, and I think he's kind of falls in that. But I don't hate what he's doing. I think he's just doing it for a different generation, which is fine. I mean, I still have ICP to kind of fall back on when it comes to Juggalo music. But that said, I know Big Hoodoo just came out with a new album too last week, and I think he's still on Psychopathic. He was just on Shaggy's podcast the other day. They were promoting it and shit. I didn't listen to it, but I seen like clips of it. But I don't know exactly how the Psychopathic deal works these days. Like I'm under the impression that Psychopathic is ICP, and that's pretty much it. Like I think Ouija Mac and Big Hoodoo kind of are like a little like what's the word I'm looking for? Like little satellite kind of artists that are in their world. But I'd be surprised if Psychopathic's giving them any kind of like anything more than promotion.
Yeah, I think that's really all the deal is.
That's what it seems like. At least.
I don't think they pay for anything anymore, which is why these artists don't come out with things as much.
Yeah,
and they're not these big projects anymore. Right. You know what I mean? They're not being pushed by ICP. ICP in the past, you would hear directly from their mouths.
Right. Like during the Twisted Blaze and Dark Lotus heyday, like, it was if you were in that world at that time, like all of those were as big as each other.
Yeah, exactly.
There was not like it wasn't like. ICP's the main attraction, and these guys just afterthoughts. It was like that was the fucking project. All of those things combined.
And when that started to change, which is around the time Twisted left, I think that was the misconception is that ICP weren't trying. They were purposely not trying to promote Twisted in fear that they would get bigger. When I don't think it. That's what a lot of people I heard. I was reading comments and following fucking CPN and. Following the whole drama that happened a few years ago, which through that whole shit, that was a lot of the perspective you would hear. It was like, oh, ICP, ICP they wanted to be number one, and they didn't want to promote Twisted anymore, and blah blah blah. When I think it was just more what you're saying, their model was changing, going to, we can't do anything else for you.
Yeah.
We can't pay for you. We can't run all these ads anymore and take time from us. You have to do that now.
I mean, they did a lot for Twisted, like in particular. Like, Blaze, I could see maybe having an argument, but like Twisted, like ICP did everything they could to like bring Twisted into the fold as big as they were, and they did at the time. And I think it's almost as if like they did it, they achieved their goal, and then they kind of set them free. And it's not ICP's fault that Twisted didn't continue the same level of love and support that ICP was getting. It's at some point you got to let the bird free. And I think that's it's almost as if that's kind of what they were trying to do. And Twisted and this isn't a knock on Twisted, but it's possible that Twisted just couldn't quite keep that steam going. Regardless of what help they were getting or whatever.
It almost seems like ICB's like, okay, here you go. Now you can do your own thing. And Twisted's like, wait, what? What? Yeah. Wait, we're going to do our own thing then. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then they do their own thing, and then everybody's like, oh my God, there's beef and shit. When it almost seemed like Twisted wanted to do their own thing, but then was almost upset that they had to do their own thing, and ICP wasn't promoting them still type of shit. You know what I mean?
Maybe that's part of it. And to your point, it's possible that Twisted like decided to do their own thing. Like, yeah, okay, fine, we will do our own thing, but we don't want to give you a piece of the pie anymore in that case. And in that case, I don't blame them.
No, that's perfectly fine. Yeah.
So,
and then it came down to, well, we don't want to give you a piece of pie, like you said, and then it came down to, but we also want what we made with you back. We don't, and ICP at that point they're like, no, we own your masters. So you go do your own thing, have fun, but we're keeping your you know what I mean? And I kind of agree with that too.
Yeah. Some people scream Juggalo only when it's convenient.
Yeah.
And no, they don't mean it.
Yeah.
They sick of being lenient, bro.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you said, man, you're a record label. Those masters are your that is money in the bank. You can't get rid of that shit.
You can't fault them for that.
Yeah.
You know, they're the ones that paid for that shit to happen.
Yeah.
You know? You can't get mad about that.
Yeah, they paid for those masters to keep, but they made some deals and got some shit back. So I think they worked it out in the end, and I wish they'd work it out again. You know?
Yeah, I do too.
Coming from the old school, you know, what we used to
the glory days.
Yeah, what we used to see when they were so tight knit.
Yeah, I mean those definitely were the days, and I truly like almost feel sorry for juggalos that weren't around during that time, because that really was. I don't see it getting better than that, you know, but. You know, it was a special time, and hopefully another special time like that will come. Unfortunately, it's been a little bit of a lull, but thankfully we do have, again, ICP still working. They just
and they've done some big shit since Twisted Left.
Absolutely.
They've still gone on the march.
Mm-hmm,
You know what I mean? A lot of the stuff they've been into is still pretty huge on ICP's level.
Absolutely. Even Fearless Fred, like I mean, that was a great album that they pumped out and like hyped up, and it was worth the wait. You know what I mean?
Speaking of that, what has it been? 2 years or a year later?
I think it's been almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
Shit, yeah, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Fred.
So. Yeah, because that didn't come out right before the pandemic. That was like, you know, we were still bumping. Anyways, to that point though, we both watched the Weekly Freakly Weekly, right? Did you watch the whole thing?
I did.
Okay.
I watched it. Yep. I hadn't heard nothing of ICP since like the pandemic started.
I read. I follow ICP on Twitter, so I see little blips, you know, here and there. But I knew that they were doing this Hallowicked like month-long extravaganza. I seen it was $66, so there's no way I was fucking gonna buy that, to be quite honest.
I have been reading comments where people were saying like you're missing out.
I believe it now. Like after, well, first of all, before the Weekly Freakly, I knew it was 66. I was like, fuck that. After Weekly Freakly, I was like, I don't know. I might be about to spend $66 on this shit.
Yeah, and see go inside Jay's house, see him partying there and shit.
And to be honest, I would seriously buy it if I had time to consume all of that.
That's what that's the only reason I. Sorry, Mike. That's the main reason why I was like, I'm not gonna be able to sit down and watch half this shit.
So I'll catch the highlights, and I'm gonna pay attention to it. But
yeah,
I don't need the physical merch. Like I'm just not into that as much these days. You know, they're giving a DVD and a CD for people who subscribe, which makes it almost worth it alone.
Yeah, what's that DVD? What wasn't? Because I remember seeing it and I was interested in that DVD. What was it? Remind me.
I don't think he made it very clear. I could be wrong, but
wasn't it like the tour? Like they're like behind the scenes for tours?
Oh yeah. Do you recall like there was a time, it was either last year or over the summer, where they were giving they did some kind of event where people could show up to the Psychopathic office and they were giving tours. Like you paid a fee, and Violent J and Shaggy themselves were literally giving tour of their office and warehouse.
I think I remember that. Yeah.
And
I
so
remember that.
So that was a thing, and I think that's what these are. And by the way, I really want to see that shit.
Yeah.
I would love to see it. You know, seeing Jay's house during that Weekly Freakly was pretty mind-boggling.
That was pretty funny.
Like I was shocked with. I told you how modest. Like I mean, it's a regular ass house. Like I thought Jay lived in like a fancy mansion and shit. But I love the shot of like the fucking cat ripping apart the carpet.
I got that same shit in my house.
Me too. That's why it was great. Like, but it leads me to believe that it's actually Jay's house with all the butterflies on the wall, and like there was like ICP memorabilia and.
Oh yeah, I don't see why would they lie about that?
I don't think they would.
I think Jay's to a point where he doesn't care if people see how he lives and shit. You know.
Yeah, I loved it. But I'm super into all that shit, and I want to soak in as much of that as I can. But again, I just don't have the time. So unfortunately, you know, it's not really worth the $66 for me personally. But I am interested in all of the news that's going to come out of it. So we will be paying attention and talking about it.
Speaking of that, where are you going next?
We can go right into the fifth Joker's card. If you want.
That's what I was thinking. The fact that the fifth Joker's card news came out this soon, I was
literally like the second day of it.
Yeah, I was like, I thought they were going to at least say if they were going to talk about that like the last day or something.
I really want to see it, like very badly. I want to see the picture, you know, the cover.
The first thing I thought, it was like, okay, so it's the fifth Joker's card of this deck. The 5th was Jekyll Brothers. The last deck, is this going to be sisters?
Yeah, that's what
Like
I thought
two
too.
Sisters?
Yeah.
Like twins or some shit?
Yeah, I actually predicted like last year or whatever or maybe during our Fearless Fred episode where we were talking about like how Jay said like we say the name of the 5th Joker's card on the album, like because
You
they
actually predicted it?
No. Jay said that.
Okay.
I predicted that it was going to be brothers. I did say that during our pod. I think I said my prediction, because of the fact that they said brother so many times, I was like, it makes sense. 5th, once again, you're gonna do brothers, like that would be cool. That's kind of where I was going. I thought they were going to do some shit like that, but they're doing this Yum Yum Bedlam is what it's going to be called.
Now, did they say that on the album?
There isn't a song. I can't remember which song it was on Fearless Fred where like he's like red rum, yum yum bedlam. Like that's literally part of the lyrics of that song. Whichever, I can't remember the fucking song, but Night of the. Nope, that's not ringing a bell. Nevertheless. During that song, they do say that, which I just seen somebody point that out the other day. I was like, oh, shit, okay, I see. But, I mean, who would have thought they were going to name the fucking album Yum Yum Bedlam? That sounds sounds fucking ridiculous.
I think a shit ton of people predicted Bedlam.
Yes, I did see that. People were saying Bedlam Brothers and shit like that.
Yeah.
But I don't hate the idea. I think it's cool that they're doing, one, it's a girl. I think that's neat. Yum Yum Bedlam is kind of a retarded name. You know, don't get me wrong, but I'm not going to talk shit about it until I see what it's all about. You know, they always have a good, cool backstory and plan for their albums. And I am hyped that Jay said this is going to be he said this is the second favorite Joker's card he's ever done.
Really?
Yeah.
So Night of Red Rum, is that the one?
Yeah, it was during that song.
Okay.
So Jay did go on, he quoted himself saying that. I don't know if it was on Twitter or whatever, but that got me kind of amped because I'm assuming the Wraith is his favorite, right?
Yeah,
Shangri-La specifically.
I mean, if you listen to the book or if you read the book, and I would highly suggest listening to it if you haven't ever listened to it.
I listened to some of it, but I never got through it.
Because you get so much more little tidbits and information from Jay going off the book and just ranting.
Okay,
and it's fucking cool. But anyway, that book, I think he talks so highly of Shangri-La in there. It's got to be his number one favorite.
It would have to. But nevertheless, like new album. I mean, it sounds interesting. I'm all in. I'm very excited that it's coming out on Christmas. That fucking soon.
Yeah.
That really pumped me up. I was like, oh shit, like new ICP. It's not just a few new songs. You know, we're getting a new fucking Joker's card in 2 months.
I'm wondering if
it's exciting.
Yeah, it is cool. I mean, the whole time as soon as you showed me that link, I was like, oh shit.
I mean, we had to wait like a year for Fearless Fred after it was announced. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it took a minute. Wait, they must. Hopefully, they've been working on it and they're not rushing it.
I would assume as much. I don't know. I mean, I'd like to think so. Maybe this pandemic really kicked them into gear.
Yeah.
If anything good comes out of the pandemic, it's that we got a new Joker's card faster. Because I mean, for what it's worth, I'm interested too in the whole idea of the seeds. Like he mentioned that they're going to come out with 3 EPs over the next year. Yeah, that was
an interesting idea.
Which, you know, that's nothing new. That's not new territory for ICP. They often do shit like that. Like have kind of companion EPs for the album. I mean, they've been doing that since fucking Terror Wheel, you know. But so I'm interested in that. I like the idea of that they're going to combine it into a special edition album. Like, I love that ICP always does shit like that. They keep their album. That's a way to keep their album relevant for more than a week. You know what I mean? Especially in this day and age where you listen to an album and the next week you're over it and on to the next. Yeah. That's an interesting way to continue on that path. And not to mention line their pockets a little bit, which I can't fault them for that. They've always done that. 3 fucking versions of Great Malenko. No one needed that.
And they're upfront about it.
Yeah. So they've been doing that shit since 1997. No one's going to get mad at them for that.
It reminds me of the Weekly Freakly. They said a few lines about that. It was like, and hopefully go straight into the bank account. That's psychopathic.
Yeah, I love that. He's keep that shit real. But I don't know, man. I'm excited. I think that's cool. I do not believe he gave the dates for all the seeds. No way in hell I'm buying that. There's no fucking way that those are the right dates for all that shit.
What were they?
Violent J said December 25th is the new album. Okay. With it being this soon, I don't doubt that. But he said the seeds, one would be like, he's like, then April 16th, then July 23rd, or whatever it was. I'm like, there's no fucking way, first of all, that those are accurate. Knowing ICP's track record, I don't buy that shit at all. that they're predicting an album release date more than a couple months in advance.
Yeah.
I mean, you fooled me once, fooled me twice, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I waited for, months for fucking Jekyll Brothers, bro.
Yeah. And Fearless Fred was pushed back.
Yeah,
too.
you're right.
And
So-
they wouldn't say anything for the longest time when nobody knew the date.
About what
that?
Fearless? Oh yeah. That was it was a mystery until they, I think they announced it with literally a couple months in advance.
Yeah.
Finally, but I don't know. What else did he talk about? I mean, the Weekly Freaky was essentially all about the whole October extravaganza, which, by the way, had they done this shit back when I was 19 years old, this would have been the best month of my life. You know what I mean? Like I'm genuinely excited for like all this cool shit they're doing. I love the idea of ICP doing podcasts and shit. I think and telling stories. Dude, he said there's one. He mentioned they. By the way, if you didn't pay attention to the Weekly Freakly, highly recommend watching it if you're a Juggalo. Oh, the fuck was that?
That might have been this.
Oh, talking to that, make sure it's working.
Yo.
But for what it's worth, like they dropped so much cool information about what they're doing for this this month, where he literally broke down what they're doing every single day, like what event, and I know some of it I didn't give a shit about, but one thing that did stick out to me that I really loved was they were doing a podcast where they just tell like stories from the road.
Yeah.
I'm all in on that idea.
That was the one of the big ones. It was just him and
Rude Boy, Jump Steady, I think.
Yeah, Jump Steady. Yeah, with just like the main old school. You know what I mean? They're from the fucking beginning people.
Dude, what would you do to hear a podcast of like a week, even a monthly, bi-weekly, whatever, every now and then podcast with ICP, like Twisted and Blaze, even ABK, whatever, Mike Clark, like just to hear like them like talking about that shit.
Yeah.
Dude, I'd give everything to hear that shit.
I would definitely I would be an avid listener of that for sure.
But that said, I'll as a consolation prize, I'll accept Violent J and Jump Steady and Rude Boy talking about shit, because if Jay's good at anything, it's telling a story.
Yeah.
And I'm very much looking forward to that.
It'd probably be hard to get all those egos in one room.
Yeah, that's true.
Twisted and them, they'd be all trying to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, because when it comes to Jay telling a story, Rudy and Jump Steady kind of like let Jay do his thing.
Sure, which is fine.
Yeah.
I think Jay can hold it down just fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Did he mention that Shaggy was going to be present for these? I hope he is.
Yeah, I would hope so, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's not.
Yeah.
With a lot of them.
Well, I know Shaggy does his own podcast with Keegan and shit,
Yeah.
but and I've listened to a couple episodes, which don't get me wrong, I love hearing Shaggy. Like, I don't know. I think I discussed this maybe on the last episode too. Like, Keegan seems like a cool guy, but I don't give a fuck about him and Shaggy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the reason why I don't watch it much either.
I'll check out the highlights or if they say something interesting, but for the most part, I think they're just fucking around anyway.
Yeah. Just an excuse to fuck around.
Yeah.
I don't see an ICP podcast really ever happening.
Yeah.
Just because Jay and Shaggy don't want to spend that much time together.
I think they got to the point in their relationship where they're just like kind of sick of each other, except when it comes to work.
Yeah,
I'm sure they love each other. Don't get me wrong, but like
Yeah.
they're not like ingrained in each other's lives like that much. you know?
Yeah. When it comes to work, they're always down. Jay's like, "Hey, we're doing this." Shaggy's like, "Fucking, you better believe it." Shaggy's like, "Hey, Jay, I want to do this." He's like, "Go ahead, do your thing.
Yeah, of course.
We'll fucking promote it no matter what." So,
Which is it's great that this long into their business and personal relationships, they're still able to get along and like still be on the same page when it comes to music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love that. That said, yesterday, did you see that? Did you listen to that clip I sent you of that new song that they?
I did.
What it was called? Like, what was it called? Dead Dolly doll something doll.
Dead Dolls or something.
Dim doll. What the fuck was it?
Yeah, it was like some Dead Dolls or something weird. It was. I'm not gonna lie. I had trouble kind of following it.
Yeah, same.
Because it was kind of, it's kind of listening to something out of context. Don't know the album. Usually the songs have something to do with another song on the album or an idea that's floating around. So I don't know the whole idea yet. It looked like just another toy song, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm gathering. The clip that I heard, I wasn't necessarily impressed by, but it's very hard when it's obviously a story song that has a bigger overarching theme to just hear like 30 seconds of it. You can't really make a judgment on it. I mean, ICP's rap skills, you could judge it by based on how they're rapping, but it's all the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, regardless, it looked fine. You know, it sounded fine, but I don't know why that would be the clip they would release though. Like, why not release a clip from, which I'm sure to believe there's a song where they're just like shit talking, bullshitting, clowny raps. You know, like why not just have that?
Yeah. Ding ding doll.
Ding ding doll.
The single. This is supposed to be a single.
Yeah.
The single from the next Joker's card.
Yeah, that's interesting. And that's from Beneath the Dirt, which is, by the way, is a cool Juggalo podcast. This dude, like, that dude loves ICP, dude. I mean, it sounds interesting. But I don't know why that would be the single.
Yeah, it's definitely slow. It's not a banger. It's not an upbeat. Yeah, I don't know. I can't really. A lot of ICP's music is not. I don't like it because it's like a fucking. It makes me want to get up and dance, and it makes me. You know what I mean? A lot of it is I like it because of the storytelling and the concepts and shit. So I don't know. I'd have to hear it all with the context of the album to really have a good feel of it. As what I just hear from that clip now, it just kind of sounds
Yeah, sure. I'm with you. I think we agree completely on that. Besides that, I mean, I didn't really. I don't know if I didn't pay attention, but what's your overall thoughts on the name of the new album, the idea for the C? Like, what do you think about all that?
It's always creative, man. Every time they come out with an album, name, concept, and all that stuff, I always give credit to the creativity of it. The name, yeah, it's not their best in my opinion. Like following up Fearless Fred Fury, which was like to me was like almost like exactly what a Juggalo card and album should look like and sound. You know what I mean?
But a lot of people hated on the idea of like the name of Fearless Fred. Like a lot of people did shit on it. Same with Mighty Death Pop. People shit on that too.
The Mighty Death Pop may have not been their strongest because it almost kind of sounded. You know you know what I mean?
It seemed like they were going a different direction with Death Pop, and then they kind of brought it back with Fearless Fred.
Yeah. I don't know. Fearless Fred just reminded me. The card looked like something old school. Looked like something out of the Ringmaster, Beverly Hills era.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
So that to me.
I agree.
The name of it, same thing. You know. To me, it fits in with that first few Jokerr card look and feel.
Yeah.
Maybe not the sound, but definitely the look of the card and the name and everything. It gave me that feel of it.
Sure. Well, if there's anything to be said, like ICP is just as creative today as they've always been.
Yeah.
So I mean, that gives me hope every time.
Yeah.
I never like when an ICP album comes out. I'm never like, okay, what's this gonna be?
Yeah.
Here we go. I'm always excited.
Yeah.
You know.
And like I said, this deck, man, all the names have been different sounding, like not fitting what the first deck was.
Yeah,
it's cool because the second deck,
a little more out there.
Bang Pow Boom. I mean, that when I first heard that, I was like, "What? That's a Joker's card? What the fuck does that even mean?"
Yeah.
And then when it came out, you know, the three faces that were explosions and shit, and it all fucking clicked.
The
for
concept
me.
was cool.
Yeah, and I was like, and I still love Bang Pow Boom.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite cards, definitely of the second deck.
I agree.
But I really like that fucking album.
Yeah, I agree. I think I think Bang Pow Boom is
one of the best albums of the 2010 decade.
I agree.
You know,
I really love Marvelous Missing Link Found. I loved it. Lost me. You know.
Yeah.
Ironically, but Found like really was like inspirational. Like there's so many positive like just good songs on it, which I think I'm kind of in the minority for how much I like Marvelous Missing Link Found, but I just don't think it gets as much love as it should, to be honest. But there's songs on that I would pick out and bump exclusively, like just those songs, you know?
Yeah.
I don't listen to the album itself as a whole very much. If I'm going to listen to a whole ICP album, I'm going to just throw on Malenko or Shangri-La or something. But
yeah.
But nevertheless, like I love what ICP has been doing, and I don't think they've really really missed yet. I think they've taken a few steps off the beaten path that maybe didn't speak to me specifically, but I applaud them regardless for trying some new different shit. Lost had a lot, the production especially with what's his name, Otis or whoever, the A&B guy, whatever the fuck his name is.
Otis.
Young Wicked.
Yeah, Young Wicked. Yeah.
The production. I know he did a lot of the production for them at that time, and I think he was like involved pretty heavily. So I think that inspired a lot of their sound at the time, which was fine. But I'm glad they're kind of getting back to shit. They did say Mikey Clark and Mike P would be involved with production on this album.
Oh shit, I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Wow, that really gets me excited.
Yeah. They said like Kuma and like a couple other like producers they've worked with, but I'm very excited at the prospect of Mikey Clark and Mike P both producing again for ICP. Like that really makes me happy.
I'm hoping it's more than just like one track.
Yeah, me too. So we'll see, man. I mean, they're both of their sounds are iconic, especially mixed with ICP. Like it's gonna be great.
But as far as like the looks of the Joker's card, I'm sitting here looking at the pictures, right? Mm-hmm. And
yeah,
I mean, look at that top row compared to that bottom row. I know it's a little blurry.
Yeah, yeah.
Just see how much more depth and form that top row has.
Yeah, for sure.
How much more they stand out, and how much more like just weight they have.
They're iconic. You could argue that like maybe I mean, like looking at Fearless Fred, he definitely fits in with the look of the other ones the most. I do agree with that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I really do think the Fearless Fred really fits up there with that top row.
And maybe part of it's due to the fact that it's just image on a black background, which I'm kind of getting a similar vibe from Mighty Death Pop in that picture. But
the Mighty Death Pop always kind of I wish they would have went more with the Ringmaster look, like simplify it, don't color it in.
Yeah.
Make it more just an outline.
And that's kind of what they're going back to with Fearless Fred. You're right.
Yeah, I think it would have worked better. And then they went with the missing link, and I think they just went a little too intricate out there with it. I like the idea, but I just wish it was a little sharper, not so like bubbly and looking, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel that. I get what you're saying.
But I think they're trying to go with like a ring mat or a Malenko look with it, but it just didn't quite work out. But I still love the Bang Pow Boom, man. It's simple, it's sharp, it fucking the makeup like it looks like a cool face.
Yeah, I agree. It's dope.
But I say, out of the new ones, it's going to be the Bang Pow Boom, the Fearless Fred Fury are my favorite cards out of the new ones.
Okay.
As far as the look of them.
Yeah, I feel that.
My least is probably going to have to be
Missing Link.
Missing Link Found, yeah.
Yeah.
Missing Link Found is my least favorite.
It's a little goofy. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Regardless, I'm excited to see the look of the Yum Yum Bedlam album.
Yeah, man. And that's a big thing to me. The card is always a big what it looks like is always big because
you always have that in mind while you're listening to it.
Yeah, it's going to be Shaggy has a way of drawing them to where they imprint in your brain. You know what I mean?
The colors, like you think Riddlebox, like it's just that green and purple. It's just immediate like feeling. The same with the Jekyll Brothers. The fire imagery and shit. It's always in there. So it's always exciting. It's an exciting time. Anytime a Joker's card is about to come out. So we're pretty amped here. Over on
Deck. I want to get all the cards and put them on a black background and really just look at them.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
I do think that white background and the fire and the gold on the other ones kind of just
it's a little extra.
Yeah, it makes it not stand out as much and really be able to compare it.
I feel that.
Coming from an artist, someone who really thinks about color and really thinks about like line work and shit like that, the fucking top, the original cards, man, they're just genius the way they're fucking designed.
I'm with you, bro. All this said, did you also see that? Back to a little bit of news I read earlier. Did you see that Twist is doing a special thing for Freak Show 20th anniversary?
I saw something of it. I didn't know exactly what it was, but I did see like a tape.
Yeah,
they're coming out with a tape.
It's a tape of like shit from the Freak Show era that was like cut or scrapped or whatever. Which I'm excited to hear that shit. I don't care about owning the tape personally, but I think that's pretty cool. Like I'm very much looking forward to hearing like what was scrapped there.
Did that's Freak Show came out on Halloween, right?
Yes.
Same with Bizarre.
Yes. So
Okay.
20th anniversary of
Yeah.
Bizarre too, which it's crazy to think that's been 20 years, but I mean, monumental albums, you know.
It sucks that we missed out on the fucking, because the Gathering was going to be Bizarre themed, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, I think I did hear that.
Yeah, it was going to be like the 20th.
And it was going to be here. God, man, that would have been amazing.
I know, man.
Sucks we got robbed of that.
We were really
fucking
thinking
COVID.
about going to that one for the first time in how long, and it's just fucking gone.
Yeah, fucking COVID.
Yeah.
Regardless. So anyways, I thought that was interesting. Like I Twisted doing that
Yeah.
shit. It's neat.
I don't care as much. I'll listen to it, but
Yeah, not excited for it.
yeah, not that excited.
I
for
feel
it.
that. What about the ICP acoustic show?
I've watched their acoustic shows. I've watched at least one of them live on YouTube, and it's pretty cool. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, the guys they have doing the music are good.
Yeah, sure.
They actually convert the music acoustically, and it fits. Now, are the clowns on beat the whole time, and are they fucking saying the right shit? A lot of times, no.
Yeah, I mean they're used to doing it a certain way. It's
Yeah.
probably just muscle memory at this point. So
Yeah.
that's probably fucking them up. Honestly.
Yeah, and I think Shaggy's like reading, like he's like looking on his phone or some shit. Half the time he's fucking forgetting shit. I think Jay's on it a little bit more.
That's funny.
But it's still funny just because they're kicking back in chairs and
Yeah.
you know, who cares if they get it wrong? I don't fucking
I don't
care.
either.
You know what I mean?
I think it's
Like,
funny.
but
I mean
the
they're
actual-
clowns. They
yeah.
have that to fall back on.
But the actual acoustic music is not bad. I actually like the acoustic versions of the beats, and I've actually always wanted to hear something like that. So I do like the acoustic stuff. I like to hear it. I don't necessarily have to see it live.
Right.
It's not like bugging me to see it live, but I would actually like to get a good recorded versions of all their acoustic shit.
They'll be out there.
Yeah,
They'll be out there.
actually like take the beats,
I
convert them to an acoustic, you know, sound, just play them acoustic, and see if you could, you know what I mean, match the actual original lyrics to it.
Oh yeah, I see. That would be cool.
See if that might not work, but see if it does, and if it does, you know what I mean. I'm
That'd be
sure they could
interesting.
get it to work, but if not, I don't see them going in the studio and re-recording all that shit for a whole acoustic album. Yeah.
I could see them doing like an acoustic album of like new, fresh shit.
Yeah.
Like, just for
Another
fun.
thing they could do is they've done like 3 or 4 acoustic sets so far,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Record every set and then pick the best songs out of each set and then make that an album out of that.
That'd be pretty cool.
That's what a lot of bands do when they release live albums.
Okay.
It's not necessarily one show. They pick
I see.
because you know they pick on their tour, they pick the best nights of that song.
Yeah.
And they do that, and I think then we could get a decent album.
I'd be into that.
Yeah.
Well, I hope it's cool. I'm really looking forward to seeing all this news that's going to be coming out and all the cool new, content that we're going to be getting over the next month. I'm excited for it, man.
Yeah, man,
Cool.
and like I said, I haven't been paying attention to anything ICP news, but just because I like to be surprised. So I'm sitting here waiting for it. I'm like, man, they've got to be doing something during this time, this downtime. So, and then boom, fucking all this shit releases. I'm like, oh shit.
I don't know where most juggalos get their news anymore. I'm imagining Facebook. I'm not on Facebook anymore, so that's just not an option for me. But I've gone to Fago Lovers and like tried to like reach it, and
I was just on it.
Fago Lovers is a shit show. Like, first of all, you go there and it's an ad. You immediately are just inundated with a giant full page ad for some bullshit album of some artist you've never heard of that came out back in July. Like, get the fuck out of here with that shit, Fago Lovers. Fix your shit.
Yeah, so this is
Like, I love Scotty D. I've met the guy. I've hung out with him, but what is that? Oh,
I'm just saying this is what it looks
that's
like.
Fago Lovers?
Yeah.
What the fuck is that, dude?
Yeah, when I pull
Wait,
it up,
let me see.
There's an ad at the top.
Yeah, okay.
This isn't, I don't know if they have an app, but this is just going through Google.
Yeah, it looks like shit. It's got a dumbass ad at the very top of the page for some album no one cares about. And then the news is like often just underground news that doesn't even relate to Juggalo shit. It's just like, I imagine they're getting probably a few bucks here and there from some of these artists to like promote their shit, which it's just unfortunate how it's fallen. Like
they can't be getting that many hits as they used to.
Oh, I can't imagine. No, not with social media.
Yeah,
out there.
there's no fucking way, dude.
But like,
that's probably why it looks like this.
I don't know where like the definitive source would be then for like ICP news, because you can't rely on Fago lovers these days.
Yeah, I think it's got to be just Facebook or Twitter.
Yeah.
I mean,
I will say I follow. I don't know his name, unfortunately. I haven't really paid much attention to his podcast, but I follow the Beneath Dirt guy, which that guy's super cool, very big Juggalo, and he's always pumping out like tweets and like hey, what's your favorite song off of this album and shit. Like he's a really cool. Seems like a really cool guy, and I should start paying more attention to him. But I follow him, and he often will post. That's how I found out about the 5th Joker's card and shit, because he posted like that Fago Lovers snippet or whatever, wherever he got the Ding Ding Doll sample from. But nevertheless, like it's nice to find some people like that. So if anybody knows like Juggalo news people to follow, like let us know, because I'd like to be more in the know, and I don't want to have to sift through a bunch of garbage underground news that I don't give a fuck about. You know?
Yeah, dude, I'm going back to all the way to the beginning of October and before that, and it's just article after article that I don't give a shit about.
Yeah.
Article after, and then all of a sudden, and then there's a Juggalo song, and then Head PE's classic 2020 anthem being considered for 2021 Grammy.
Who gives a fuck?
What?
Who gives a fuck?
And then all of a sudden, boom, ICP's 5th Joker card, second deck, release date.
Yeah.
And the next one, huge news, unrevealed ICP seminar. The next one, Twisted, Disturbed and Unheard, released from the,
okay,
what I mean?
all good shit.
Big Hoodoo official music video. I'm
Okay,
like, okay,
sure.
so you get a big chunk of good stuff right there.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, now it looks like, and then after that, now just a bunch of fucking articles I don't give a shit about.
Yeah, man. So, I'm putting a plea out there to Scotty D. Please fire all these fucking assholes who keep posting non-Juggalo shit. If it's you, stop posting this non-Juggalo shit, and let's focus on. Maybe we're in the minority. I don't know, dude. Maybe people care about that shit. But
It may be, man.
I can't imagine that.
Like I said again, like we said in the beginning, we're more old school, and all we ever really cared about was the core group of ICP related music.
Back in my day, Fago Lovers was ICP news.
Yeah. Yeah, they make, and then when Tech 9 came out, they kind of started branching out to Tech 9, and then some other underground Juggalo,
Right.
and then and then now it seems like that's all it is.
Yeah, and not to mention now it's like
It's an underground wicked shit music, you know what I mean? And then with occasionally the ICP news in there.
They shouldn't even be called Fago Lovers anymore. Yeah. They should be called fucking all soda pop lovers.
But to be fair, what else are they going to do if
I know.
ICP's not putting out that much news?
I guess you got a point, but I mean,
just give it up, hang it up, and not do it anymore.
I guess we're just bitching. You are right. I don't know what we're bitching about, but I guess what my gripe is, like, I would like a definitive news source for Juggalo shit. I don't want to hear about random up and coming underground artists. I want to hear Juggalo shit exclusively.
I think at this point, this site is not the main source anymore. What it is, it's a billboard now.
Yeah.
People, for the people that realize that a lot of the older Juggalos still go there. They out of habit.
Sure.
People still go there out of habit, right? And it's a billboard for underground rappers now.
Yeah.
You know, the next, get your album on Fago Lovers.
Yeah, you're right. That's probably a good point.
So a lot of people watching this are probably just underground rappers.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Like all the underground rappers that are in the Juggalo scene probably live by Fago Lovers, because it's a good, it's when you make it there, you know, that's a step.
Yeah, I see that.
That's a step to getting into the Juggalo underground world.
I guess it boils down to, again, we already touched on it, but it's probably most people getting it from social media groups and shit like that, but
which aren't talking about underground rappers,
right?
Really.
And probably not too many people are looking for let me go to this website to find my news. You know, you get it from social media these days.
Yeah.
I do understand that. And from what I can tell, Fago Lovers does a decent job of posting shit on social media that's relevant. But I personally, like, I don't do really social media at all anymore. I just I don't have time for it. I have other shit I want to spend my time doing, like playing video games or working or being a dad. You know, like,
I actually got rid of my Facebook as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of to that point.
Yeah.
You know, so that said, like I guess I'm bitching into the ether about something that I'm making myself. You know, I'm making it hard on myself to find the shit, I guess. But I that said, I think more people are kind of going toward our mindset. Would like let me go to this source to get that information, you know? And that would be nice to have. And it's just unfortunate that Fagel Lovers isn't it. I don't know what other, there used to be literally 100 ICP websites and now there aren't.
So what you would like to see is a website, not a social media site.
Personally, yeah.
An actual website that you can go to that's, you know, definitive Juggalo news source.
Yeah, maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe I need to create that.
But I mean, because I don't go to fucking Fagel Lovers.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't think I've been to Fagel Lovers in
years.
Since Fearless Fred.
Yeah, same. I went there today just so that I could kind of get some fodder for the show. But and that's what got me pissed.
Yeah.
Just looking at it like, what the fuck have they become?
I mean, I've thought the same thing. Every time I go there, I see a fucking ad and just fucking 20 articles I've got to scroll through of shit that like literally I've never even heard of.
Yeah. And
never even heard of.
And and then you got like just a couple years ago they did that incredible interview with Violent J. Like that should have solidified like how important they are in the Juggalo world, and like it's just kind of fallen from there, you know?
And I think that's what it is. They're still huge, but people don't go there. That's not what they use. They're still big. They're almost like a band now.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's just like a band. People go there and check on them every fucking now and then it's mostly just like people that are wanting their fucking CD on the fucking ad page.
All that said, Violent J and Shaggy, I know you're listening. You can come on our show whenever you'd like. Please feel free to come on our show. It doesn't have to be an interview. We can shoot the shit. I don't give a fuck. Like we just, we like to pick your brain about shit, but I'm not gonna sit here and like ask a bunch of noob bullshit Juggalo questions. You know what I mean? I already know all this shit I want to know. Mm-hmm. I want to know the shit I don't.
And that mine, I'm not going to give you softballs either. I'm going to fucking throw some hard ones at you.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. We need answers to some shit, but other than that, we just want to hang and shoot the shit with you. So if Fagel Lovers can fucking put it out there and get Violent J a 2-hour Violent J interview, I think we could. We definitely deserve that.
I wouldn't be able to do that. I would not be able to sit down with Jay and like Scotty D did and just let him fucking talk and talk and talk. That's why they picked Scotty D.
Because Scotty D didn't push back at all.
I'd have been like, wait, hold on, wait. You did what? You know what I mean? I would have. That's why I'm not an interviewer.
No, I agree, and
that's why I'm not a biased fucking journalist interviewer.
I think that's what's great about like doing a podcast like this is like we're already of that kind of mindset. We're not interviewers. Mm-hmm. We want to have a conversation. You know, we're not trying to fucking just get talking points. We want to fucking know information. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, we're not journalists by any means, but when it came to ICP, I would fucking treat them like I'm a goddamn journalist, and I need to. I guess I'm contradicting myself. I just said I wasn't going to interview you, but not like an interview fashion. I want to be more like a hold your feet to the flames. Let's get some real information. Let's get to the nitty gritty. Let's find out some real cool information. Yeah. Not an expose. I love them. I love you guys, but I want to really get into there.
Yeah, because that's all that was. It wasn't an interview, really. It was Jay finding somebody he felt comfortable to just sit there and tell
that would listen to his shit. Yeah, you're right.
Like he knew Scotty D, is a big source, and he's comfortable with Scotty D. So boom, that's all it was. It was not an interview.
Sure.
It wasn't asking like why did you know what I mean? Jay told a side of the story, and there was questions, but it wasn't really an interview. Jay didn't have to deal with hard questions, really.
Yeah, you're right. Well, that said, man, like I have love for Scotty D. I know he's like us, like he is like a true blue, down to earth, like really in the know Juggalo. He really cares. I truly believe that. I don't know anything about any of the other people involved with Fagel Lovers. I'm sure it's like an operation at this point, but I will give Scotty D love. He's always shown me love. Like when I messaged him when we first started doing this show, he posted about it. I've met him a couple times. He's always been cool to me. We used to bullshit back when I ran psychojokers.com. Like we were cool back then. I just want to make it known, like he posted our music up on his site back when we were doing shit. Like he's always shown love to me, so I don't want to make it seem like I'm shitting on Scotty D. I just think Fagel Lovers itself has kind of fallen.
That's why Fagel Lovers is the way it is, because of the way he is.
Yeah.
He's going to share everything.
Maybe you're right.
You know,
maybe you're right.
And good or bad, good. You know, whether it's good or bad, he's just that's the way it is, man.
I truly believe he's doing what he thinks is, the Juggalos. They're posting shit that they think the Juggalos actually care about, and so I can't fault him for that. It just doesn't. It's not doing it for me anymore.
Maybe they do. Maybe that's what we need to ask. Do we need to ask the community if they care about shit they see on Fagel Lovers?
Yeah, maybe. Do you guys care about what Fagel Lovers? Tell us your opinions on Fagel Lovers, because we want to know. Or if you're getting your news from is Real Juggalos site again? I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. Do you like, if there's anything on Fagel Lovers that's good, let us know. If there's like, if you have seen anything on Fagel Lovers, what was it? Was it another band, or is it just an ICP article?
Yeah.
Because all I see are bands. All I see are other rappers like on there, really.
Speaking of that, the first time I heard about the Jokerr was on Fagel Lovers. They posted a link to download. I don't know if Jokerr paid for an ad or whatever, but his entire first album, Welcome to the Show, was put up as a free download, and I got it from Fagel Lovers. I was like, okay, let me see what this dude's about. I downloaded it, listened to it, and I fucking loved it. I loved his level of talent. I loved his gimmick. It at first seems like a corny Juggalo ripoff gimmick, and maybe it is, but he was doing his own thing. He was building lore. He was creating like what appeared to be like a world. I
remember that first video.
Yeah.
The first video we saw back, or you showed me
of
him back in the day, where he's in like the castle looking thing, the dungeon.
Ever Before. That song is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I remember that, and I thought it was good. I was like, damn.
Before. That. He's fucking rapping his ass off in that video.
And you're saying that, because I never really followed him that much, but you're saying that was like him building lore. That was like his world and shit.
Like his whole first album, like it's a concept album, all about how he got like thrown in the dungeon and got released from the dungeon, and now he's back. He's getting revenge. Like, it was so fucking cool. He did that, and then after the first album, he did Ever Before, which was supposed to be on his follow-up. And I was like, yes, fuck yes, dude. Like, this is a cool adventure that he's taking us on. But
that might have been the biggest shit since Tech 9 if you would have continued with that.
It really would have been, dude. I truly believe in my heart that had he kept on that path, like I would be a diehard Jokerr fan at this point. Unfortunately, he took it upon himself to scratch all of that shit, right? Ever Before never ended up on an album. Never was released on any album. He paid probably thousands of dollars to have that video made.
Looked professional.
And he instead chose to go the route of causing beef, stirring the pot, and talking shit, which immediately turned me off of him. He came out with this. He came out with the song dissing Hobson. Came out with the song dissing Hobson's whole crew. Then he came out with the song dissing ICP and Juggalos. And like, you're just like, why? Why the fuck would you do that? He had something really cool going and threw it all away just for some attention he was getting for some beef. And unfortunately, he kept with that. And he released like a song of him, or an album of him singing fucking love songs and shit. Like, it's so fucking horrible.
Yeah, it almost seems like a waste of time and talent. Like, why?
That dude is very talented. He had a great idea and he squandered it. So that said,
did he not get it? Did he not get like did he not get the attention he thought he needed or something?
I imagine.
Or did Juggalos hate him? Was there like a key Juggalo that talked shit about him and didn't give him a chance, and now he's going back? Like,
I don't know. And it's interesting because knowing what I know, that he was promoting himself on Fagel Lovers, which tells me he was going for a certain fan base. Mm-hmm. He was obviously catering toward that fan base with his musical, journey. So he knew his fan base. He was catering to it. And then started catering to a different fan base. I can only imagine that there was probably a lot of haters that were hating on his gimmick, hating on his idea, maybe shit talking him, maybe in his personal life. Like, I think he was friends with Hobson, like personal friends, and maybe like Hobson gave him shit for kind of catering toward a Juggalo audience. I don't know. So something flipped in him to make him say like, okay, scratch that. I'm not catering toward Juggalos anymore, but I'm still going to engross myself in their world. I'm still going to produce for G-Mo Ski. I'm still going to be on one of his fucking songs. I'm still going to be on a Whitney Payton album, which is a Juggalo related album. You know what I mean? She's touring with Twisted and shit.
Yeah, but it seems like after everything you just said, it seems like he's engulfing himself in the Juggalo side or the Juggalo culture, but at the same time the anti ICP culture.
Absolutely.
The Juggalo culture
yes.
that's anti ICP.
So he obviously wanted to differentiate himself from ICP specifically, and maybe that's why he kind of went hard the other way. But it's just such a fucking shame because that guy is very talented and he had a lot of potential to be something in the Juggalo world. I could have seen him blowing up and being like somebody who tours with ICP and shit. And like, as far as I know, that dude has never done any shows.
Really?
I mean, if he has, it's news to me. But he literally has been like working with Gmo and yada yada, blah blah blah, all that bullshit. Now that you know my history of it, I bought Jokerr albums. I fucking bought the signed versions of Jokerr albums. I was a big fan. I broke them all of his albums. I broke them all.
I think I remember that
on my podcast Iconoclash. Me and Rob broke them all on the show just because we were shit talking Jokerr. Like, it was fun. But
I honestly don't know that much about him, so I won't be able to like say too much.
Well, all that said, the point I'm trying to make here is that he used the Juggalo platforms to put him big up himself, and he still is. With Fago Lovers posting his newest video, which is, as far as I know, an anti-Juggalo song.
But obviously he still has fans, right? If he's producing for Gmo and people still know about him, so he's got to have his niche. He found his niche that he likes, and
I guess,
and he don't have to try that much anymore.
I guess you're right. Maybe that's true,
right?
But he lost me during the process, which I would have been a fan, and I spent $100 on Jokerr merchandise. You know what I mean? Like, I was the guy that he should have been catering toward. And
instant gratification. We live in a time of instant gratification. He could have been the next best thing, but it wasn't going to happen overnight.
Yeah,
he needed to put out he needed to get a catalog built up,
and the beef got him more attention. Yeah. I do believe that. So the point I'm trying to make is he used the Juggalo platform just to turn his back on us, and I don't appreciate Fago Lovers sharing his newest video either. And this all kind of ties into Fago Lovers and Jokerr and shit. But that said, I was gonna see if I haven't watched it yet, but would you be interested in watching the newest Jokerr video and seeing and giving our commentary on that?
Yeah.
All right, let's do that because I haven't watched it just because I don't want to give him the hits. But all that said, I also am curious as to what the fuck he's even doing. With this, like, why even still like shit talk Juggalos at that point?
Because he probably caught wind that they're doing shit, that they're making another wave.
It's literally called Juggalo Song, and it's posted on World Star Hip Hop Heat Seekers, which I'm pretty sure you pay to be on that. So that already shows me that he's a bitch.
So here's
one day 75,000 views. By the way,
that's not bad.
It's not bad.
I mean, but it's World Star, and they get a lot of hits for shit. And calling it Juggalo Song is going to get people that aren't Juggalos watching it.
Yeah.
No.
Video looks like a Juggalo video. He's got people in Carnival of Carnage shirts and shit. Okay, so far he's like, it's cool shit about Juggalos.
Is he from Cali?
I think. So what's he doing here?
Dude, this looks like he's just another Juggalo rapper. Like he's, it's obviously good.
Yeah. I mean, who's buying this shit? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is he doing, man?
Is this This. So you're saying this isn't pandering?
I don't know. I don't know what the fuck is going on here.
So you're saying this could be a parody of how other juggalos rap about juggalos?
Maybe. Like, as of right now, I'm under the impression that, like, he's loving Juggalos.
He flipped back.
Yeah. That's what it looks like. I mean, if so, great, but like I'm not buying it. I mean, knowing his past and like how much shit he's talked about ICP and Juggalos and shit.
He obviously has got some fucking merch.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of some old school Juggalo vibe, man.
Yeah,
It really does.
Dude, I'm like conflicted because I just shit on Jokerr for like 10 minutes and now I'm like I'm like, okay, yeah, thank you, Joker.
This would have been one of the biggest fucking hits in the Juggalo world fucking 15 years ago. 20 years ago.
What do you say there? Hold on.
Watch it. It's going to be a joke. You think it's going to be a punchline at the very end?
Ooh, it might be. Let's see. Oh, he's... I don't understand, dude. I don't know what he's doing here.
To me, this just looks like he loves Juggalos and he's...
Look, had this come out...
This looks like a very high caliber underground Juggalo rapper. It's all the, you know, like how other Juggalo rappers paint their face, and it's all mostly bullshit.
But like judging by like his face paint, first of all, is corny and stupid. But like, but judging by like the lyrics so far, like I'm feeling everything he's saying. Like this is some good shit. Mind you, I'm not a fan of like I still wish he would have stuck with the Joker shit. Like I'm not a fan of like him taking on this different persona necessarily, but
just he looks like a Juggalo fan, like somebody you'd see at a fucking concert. He's just a really good rapper.
Yeah, right. So as of right now, like I'm digging what's happening here, but I'm not quite buying it. Not to mention, even if he is sincere here, he's kind of already burnt that bridge to me.
You know it's fake.
So I feel like he's almost just doing this shit to try to win back some of like me, you know.
Give it a chance. See what he says
All
at
right.
the end, because he might just come out and be like, "Psych,
yeah,
fuck Juggalo." He might come out and do that.
No, that's what he did like pretty much on his last Juggalo song.
Now, but from what I've seen right now, I like the fucking beat a lot.
Yeah, me too.
It just sounds like an old school Cali beat. Fucking great.
And I think he does his own production. By the way.
The video's fucking cool. Just reminds me of a '90s fucking West Coast shit. This has got a whole West Coast '90s feel that it's really cool mixed with the Juggalo shit.
Yeah, I'm not hating the song. Let's see. The production was shut down. Okay. On some walk up. Okay, who cares? What is that? Oh, it's another camera record. All right, so he's for some reason showing this stupid shit.
Cell phone recorder so it could go down. Y'all gonna have to hear the audio.
All right, I don't understand this at all. I don't care about this. Oh, after over an hour, we issued multiple citations and told to leave the city. Why can't they do their music video there, by the way? What the fuck was the problem? All right, I don't care about this, to be quite honest. Like, whoops. But they didn't stop the movement. All right. What the fuck is this, man? This is so weird.
Yeah. It's a cool video.
Yeah, I'm not hating on the video. It's cool. I like the vibe. I like the beat. The rapping is cool. This hook is pretty stupid, but I don't know, man. Like, it's very conflicting. All right, so he literally makes like a mismatch. The Joker Coming Home. It's like a Great Milenko ripoff cover. The all new album exclusively for the Juggalos. MakeJuggalosGreatAgain.com is the site. I don't fucking understand this. Is this a parody? What is this?
If that's a parody, he's not doing any favors for himself because non-Juggalo people are going to see this and think he's just another dumbass Juggalo.
Yes.
I don't.
They're not going to see this and go, oh man, he's really getting one over on them Juggalos.
Yeah, you're right. Like, people are going to see this and be like, fuck yeah, another Juggalo rapper.
Like, say, if I didn't know shit about Jokerr and I saw this, I'd be like, he's a decent rapper, but he's just another Juggalo rapper.
Yeah.
I wouldn't fucking think he's hating. He's got this clever scheme to hate on Juggalos.
Well, here's what I gathered from that. First of all, we know that Jokerr is a Juggalo from the get. Like, his gimmick, his promoting on Faygo lovers, his mentioning of Juggalos in the past, yada yada. We know that he is or was at least a Juggalo at some point. Okay, so knowing that, I guess it's not out of the realm of possibility that he would kind of feel bad that he alienated some of his Juggalo fans with his anti-Juggalo antics, and maybe make this as kind of a to recoup some of those fans. But it's almost like going too far the other way.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to paint his face. It's almost like insulting him painting his face and doing like a song like this. Naming it Juggalo song, like, he knows that it's going to pop up in search results for Juggalo and shit. The lyrics are all pro Juggalo shit, which I approve of. And I dig his vibe during it. But again, knowing his past, like, I can't quite, you're not going to get, that video is not going to be enough to convince me that he's doing this in like a pro Juggalo mode.
Okay, so let's go over the options that could be happening right now. One of the options is what you're saying is that he just flipped back over to being he wants to pander to the Juggalos now. It's just it's too far.
He knows that's what his fan base actually, the only fans he's ever actually had are probably Juggalos, so maybe he's catering toward them.
But you're saying that he went far right hating on Juggalos. Now he's going far back left loving them.
Yeah.
And you're just thinking, you're saying that's too much. That's like, if that is what he's doing, you don't need to do that. That's too much. Just be you, and I'll give you a chance. But the fact that you're trying to fucking sit here and pander so hard, it's okay. So there's that. What's the other one? The other one is that it could be you think that there's some clever thing going on here where he's building this thing, and then all of a sudden he's going to come out and be like, gotcha, I still hate Juggalos, fuck him.
It's almost like an ironic kind of like making fun of the Juggalo culture.
I mean, that was a fucking lot of effort to make fun of, and it didn't work. It didn't.
You're right.
No one's going to see that thinking he's making fun of Juggalos. No one.
Which his first video where he made fun of Juggalos, whatever the fuck it's called, it is that exclusively. It's obviously making fun of Juggalos. He's wearing the face paint ironically. The song lyrics like are telling you like, this shit's all retarded. I'm just kind of goofing off. But
so if that's his past of making fun of Juggalos, and this isn't, unless he's got some new plan where he's going to build he's going to make like a whole album making Juggalos think he's this rapper that loves being a Juggalo, and then all of a sudden he's going to fucking come out and be. I don't think he's going to go to those lengths to do that.
I don't either. It's just like
I think he's just far left pandering now.
Yeah, you might be right.
With the past year telling me, I think he's okay. Sorry. Here's the third option. That is how he's always been. He got hurt by the Juggalo world and hated them for a long time, but now he's really come back. Like the album says, "Coming Home" or "Come Back Home." That maybe he really has come back that strong, and he's like, I felt fucking dumb doing this shit. I hated on the fucking what I really wanted to be part of, and he's just coming back and fucking hitting hard, and that's what he's always been.
I'm curious about the motivation for sure. And I agree that those are pretty much the only possibilities, and all of them are weird.
Yeah.
Doing the song is one thing, but then making a full album with artwork reminiscent of the Great Malenko, naming it Juggalo whatever, and then making a website, make Juggalos great again. Like, that's really like a lot to fucking do.
It is a lot to do, but me not knowing shit about him, that would have caught my attention.
Okay.
An old school Juggalo like me who doesn't know shit about Jokerr, and there's a lot of us out there, I guarantee you.
Yeah.
You're probably the select few that actually really did become like a true fan of his. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now 75,000 views is a lot, but I'm
No,
sure
yeah.
a lot of that is just from curiosity clicks from
Sure.
fucking people that watch weird videos and shit, right? So he knows that he never quite hit his niche fan base. You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
started to and then fucked it up.
Yeah.
Now he's trying to do it again.
All right. Well, let me go on record then. I like I said, I know I shit on Jokerr a lot. I broke his CDs. I did all that. I've shit talked him online many times. I have a history of my feelings toward the Jokerr. And by the way,
Is he Mexican, by the way?
I didn't think so. I think he's half black. That's why he gets away with saying the N word.
Okay.
By the way, we'll wrap this up here within the next 10 minutes. 'Cause
Okay.
I gotta go. But let me just make it completely clear. I'm not opposed to changing my tune on the Jokerr. Okay.
Maybe people like you are what flipped him back.
I really hope so. In all honesty, I truly like. I don't like that he made me mad. You know,
Yeah.
like, and it's truly like it was all. And you know, this might sound gay or too deep or whatever, but like it was almost like a betrayal. Like I bought in, and then he really like ruined it, and then so I was completely out. You know, this kind of shit. I'm not saying that it couldn't bring me back into the Jokerr fold, but I'm hesitant, and you can't blame me for that.
Yeah, no. I agree with what you've said. His past, I would be too.
I would, for what it's worth, Jokerr, if you're listening, I'd love to talk to you. I would love to have Jokerr call in and talk to us about the shit, like in a sincere manner. I don't want no bullshit. Like
Jokerr, I don't know shit about you. I've never listened to a lot besides what he's shown me. Try to win me over because I like that.
Yeah.
But if it's bullshit, I'm not going to keep listening.
I've always said Jokerr, he's a very talented artist, and I truly wish the best for him. Like I think with his talent, production, video, I think he makes his own videos, writes his own songs, obviously, yada yada. Like I like most of the content I've heard from the Jokerr from a strictly like technical standpoint. You know, he's lost me in the message over the past 7 or 8 years or whatever, but you know, I'm the kind of guy, I can be won back. I'm not going to hold that shit against you forever. If this is sincere, I'm going to give it a fair shake. And I truly hope that he's doing what you said, where he's trying to win back fans like me. Yeah. He could do it. Yeah, it's not out of the realm of possibility. He's got to stop with the singing bullshit. Mm-hmm. Number one.
Because I that video right there, I'm going to listen to that again.
Yeah, sure. I will too. I want to analyze the lyrics a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm going to listen to that again. And normally I would never listen to another video we watch on here again.
Sure.
From other fucking Juggalo rappers.
I feel you.
But I actually want to listen to that again because I like the sound of that.
He seems to be spitting some shit that, you know, it's possible that he has feeling like he's probably been a Juggalo for a long time. It's possible that he has a lot of the same similar feelings toward ICP and shit. It's probably part of the reason he started rapping. He wouldn't have created that gimmick if it wasn't for ICP. I'm confident in that.
Dude, we've been mad. I've been mad at ICP.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I'm saying? But you got to think some people make the decisions and they put it in their fucking art. They put it in there. I've said fuck Jay before.
Me
fuck
too.
Juggalos before.
Me too.
You know what I mean? And then I immediately go, you know what? Yeah, fuck that, man.
Yeah.
Juggalos are cool. You know, they're not, there's bad apples, of course. Jay is just a human being. He makes dumb decisions just like everybody. Maybe he grew up. Maybe he just finally fucking grew up and said, you know what? I really do miss being a fucking Juggalo. I like the old school years. I've still, he had probably memories like we do, of these old school years. He's probably missing that and shit. And he's just, and I'll tell you that if I didn't know shit about Jokerr, seeing that album artwork and seeing that video would have caught my attention. I would be like, oh shit, this is like some old school shit.
Yeah.
hell yeah, I would have put it in. I'd be like, dude, this is actually pretty fucking cool. That would have got my attention. I'm an old school. He probably understands this. If he's a smart and knows the fan base enough, he realizes that, and he has the talent to actually pull it off and make it sound good. So he probably knows if he's got any sense in marketing and what kind of different fan base, what kind of people within the Juggalo fan base there are. The old school Juggalos,
Yeah.
the new school Juggalos, the people who are indifferent about ICP but still claim to be, the people who hate ICP but are still a he knows all these different subgenres in the Juggalo culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
He probably just said, you know what, fuck it, I'm going for the hardcores because that's what I've always been. I straight away, I'm going back towards those old school hardcores.
Let me say this: if that is the case, you can count me back in. Like I'm not too proud to admit that like I'm changing my tune. I really like everything in me is hoping that's the case. As a Jokerr fan, as a former Jokerr fan, and as an ICP fan and a Juggalo, like I hope this really is like the start of him kind of making a new name for himself, kind of trying to reinvigorate the spirit of the Juggalo fans he had. Mm-hmm. You know,
I mean, to me, that gave the spirit of old school ICP, the old school days, dude.
Yeah,
that really gave me the.
I mean, he was obviously paying homage like to Hocus Pocus video.
Yeah, the Jekyll brothers and the Malenko days, dude. I've got that feeling through that whole video.
Yeah. So, you know, it's weird. Like, I mean, you can watch this video back and see me like start from hating the Joker right before watching that, and like just watching that video, I'm kind of like on the fence now.
I mean, it was good,
so
man.
You can't knock truth.
Yeah.
And if it's true, I'm interested.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
But I agree with you. Be wary because you out of almost anybody I've ever talked to know the past of this guy.
I'm not gonna let my heart get broken.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fucking buy in fully. When that album comes out, if it's already out or whatever, I'm paying attention to it and I will analyze it and I will pick apart the lyrics.
Yeah.
And that's not like a threat. That's me hoping I find something that will redeem him in my eyes.
And I say this. If he's being sincere, cool. I might even get this dude a chance and start becoming a fan. But if he really is doing this shit for hate,
yes,
going to these links, because weirder shit's happened in 2020.
Yeah,
going to these links, putting this much time and effort into fucking hating this fan base, releasing shit that looks like he's loving it, and then all of a sudden comes out and just if he's doing this, then fuck him forever.
I'm with you, bro. He's dead to me if he does that.
Fuck this dude forever. I'll never give this another dude a chance.
He'll never. He would. And if that's the case, he will never fucking get another view from me ever again. And I will continue shitting on him on every podcast I ever do.
And him and his fans might be oh, you just don't like him because he hates ICP. You need to listen to his talent. I don't give a fuck about his talent. I listen to way better rappers all the fucking time.
Right.
He's a nice sounding rapper that if he's putting out a positive Juggalo message, I will definitely give a chance.
Absolutely. I'm with you.
But like I could have easily dropped this motherfucker and go on to a way better rapper in my opinion.
Absolutely.
But like I said, if he's doing it, good for him. I hope he is. But if this is really a sham, dude, this dude is fucking twisted and he's really fucking his head.
Yeah, I would really love for this to just be the case. That to be the case, I'm sorry, him becoming a fan again to be the case. Just to make it clear, because there, like you said, there's not really any Juggalo rappers that are like talking about Juggalo shit that is even close to as talented.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's literally some of the best Juggalo rapper shit I've ever heard.
Yeah. So stay tuned. We'll see what happens. I guess I'm looking forward to that album now. I'm really I'm going to pay a little bit more attention to the Jokerr, and I hope that he Jokerr. If you want to reach out to me, Keezy@Keezy.com. Email me. I'm not on social media, but I would literally love to have him like call into our show and talk about it. If anybody knows how to get a hold of the Jokerr, hit me up. I'm not too proud to talk to the Jokerr and about all this shit. I would love nothing more than to. I don't like beef. I don't like hating people, but I also don't like being treated like I'm the dumbass. You know what I mean? And if that's what he's doing, then it's going to be a problem.
And and as you said, that's what he's done in the past, right?
Yeah.
He's treated Juggalos like they're dumb for ICP.
Right.
And
so
shit,
Jokerr, you can't blame. I hope you can't blame me for that. I hope that you can see through everything I have talked shit about you about and actually understand where we're coming from here.
Read the comments of that video.
I will.
Go in and start reading comments and seeing what people are saying about it, because I'm sure there's people that feel the same way you do.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm curious to see what happens, but nevertheless, let's wrap this shit up.
Sir.
Anything else? You good?
I'm good, man.
We'll try to knock this another show out sooner than fucking every 2 months. We'll start reviewing albums again, but we really want to touch base with our audience again, just because we want to try to stay consistent, but life gets in the way, a lot of work and family shit, yada yada. So don't worry, we're here. We ain't going nowhere. It's just you gotta be patient with us. All right. Jokerr, reach out to me. Violent J, reach out to me. Mikey Clark, reach out to me. We're gonna try to get some shit popping off. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks for tuning in. We're gonna shuffle the fuck up on out of here.
I'll set it back into the deck.
All right. Peace.
We'll never die alone.
Juggalos will carry on.
Swing our hatchets if we must.
Each and every one of us.
We